Okay, so let's continue our discussion in the different techniques of integration. So, integration of rational functions of sine and cosine. Okay, so to integrate a rational function involving sine x, the rational functions sine x, cosine x, or both sine x and cosine x, we shall use the substitution z is equal to tangent x over 2, dx equal to 2dz over 1 plus z squared, sine x equal to 2z over 1 plus z squared, and cosine x equal to 1 minus z squared all over 1 plus z squared. So, you need to remember this values so that kaya nyong mag-solve ng mga rational functions involving sines and cosines. So let's have example. Okay, so example number 1, the integral of dx all over 1 minus sine x plus cosine x. Okay, so this is a rational function. So gagamitin natin yung itong mga values na to. So, si dx natin, sulat na lang natin dito. Our dx will be substituted with 2dz all over 1 plus z squared. Si sin x naman, this is equal to 2z all over 1 plus z squared. And cosine x is equal to 1 minus z squared all over 1 plus z squared. So, input lang natin siya dito. This will be equal to, what is dx? Ito, 2dz all over 1 plus z squared. And then, 1 minus our sine x, that is 2z all over 1 plus z squared. Plus, si cosine x natin, that is 1 minus z squared all over 1 plus z squared. And we simplify, tapos we proceed to integration. Okay, so we simplify this one. So mag-i-integrate na tayo in terms of z. Kasi meron na tayong dz dito and our variables are all in z. So this is equal to 2dz all over 1 plus z squared. Then 1. Simplify natin to. LCD natin will be 1 plus z squared. So 1 plus z squared. Okay, so this will be 1 plus z squared. Multiply lang natin si LCD natin dito sa numerator. And then this 1 plus z squared divided by 1 plus z squared is 1. Multiply natin kay numerator. That is negative 2z. Ganun din gagawin natin dito. 1 times 1 minus z squared. Okay. So, of course, this will cancel. And we simplify further. This is equal to 2dz all over 1 plus z squared over 1 plus 1, that is 2, minus 2z all over 1 plus z squared. Okay. So, this will cancel. Bakit? To simplify this one, multiply natin si out and in. Pag minultiply natin yan, ibig sabihin reciprocal to. Okay, so try natin dito. So out tayo. This is the integral of 2dz times 1 plus z squared. And then in, that is over 1 plus 1 plus z squared times 2 minus 2z. Okay? So, since multiplication yung operation natin dito, pwede nating i-cancel si 1 plus z squared and we will be left with this one. So, kahit hindi nyo na i-simplify na ganito, you can just cancel agad-agad. And then, this will be equal to the integral of 2dz all over 2 minus 2z. We can actually simplify this further with factoring out si 2 since common sa denominator natin. So, this will be equal to 2dz all over factor out si 2, and we will be left with 1 minus z. And of course, this will cancel. So, yung i-integrate na lang natin is dz all over 1 minus z. So, from this, mag-let u tayo. Let u be equal to 1 minus z. Du be equal to negative dz kasi negative to. The derivative of a constant is 0. Para maging positive si dz natin, divide natin both sides by negative. So, this will become negative du equal to dz. And then, plug na natin dito. So, this will be equal to, ano yung dz natin? Negative du all over what is 1 minus z? That is u. Okay? So, isolate natin si negative. What is the integral of du over u? So, that is equal to ln of u. And then, substitute back natin si u. Ano ba si u? U natin is equal to 1 minus z. So, this is equal to negative ln 1 minus z. However, dapat yung sagot natin is in the form of variable x kasi yun yung original equation natin. So, we substitute back z. What is the value of z? Given kanina, our z is equal to tangent x over 2. Okay? So, substitute back natin si tangent x over 2. Our final answer will be 1, negative ln of 1 minus tangent x all over 2. And then, don't forget si plus c. Okay. So, this is the final answer for example number 1. So, that is how you integrate rational functions of sine and cosine. So, kailangan mo lang tandaan tong mga to. Next is the algebraic substitution. So, meron tayong case dito that if the integral involves fractional powers of x, then x is equal to z raised to n, where n is the LCD of the fractional exponents. Okay? So, example tayo dito. Example number 1, the square root of x dx all over 1 plus the cube root of x. If you convert this into fractional exponents, magiging x raised to 1 half. And this one naman, x raised to 1 over 3. Therefore, ano yung LCD ng fractional powers natin, fractional exponents natin? That would be, what is the LCD of 3 and 2? LCD niya is equal to 6. Therefore, yung gagamitin natin na value ni x is equal to z raised to 6. Okay? So, yung dx natin will be equal to 6z 5dz. So, plug na tayo dito sa values. This will be equal to square root of what is our x? That is z raised to 6. And then, our dx is equal to 6z 5dz. Okay, all over 1 plus the cube root of our x, that is z raised to 6. Okay, so yung purpose natin dito is to eradicate itong mga radical signs. So, how do we do that? We can break this. Okay. Paano matatanggal si 2? Kailangan naka-raise to 2 yung nasa loob ng radical sign. So, to do that, pwede natin gawin si z cube raised to 2. Okay, you should know, you should master yung mga rules of exponents ninyo. And then this will be equal to 6z 5dz all over 1 plus, ganun din yung gagawin natin dito. Dapat raised to 3 yung nasa loob natin to eradicate yung radical sign. So, to do that, kailangan nating gawing z squared raised to 3 yung nasa loob. Okay? So, of course, this will cancel and also with this one. So, we will be left with the integral of z cubed times 6z raised to 5 dz all over 1 plus z squared. Okay? So, simplifying further, this will be equal to, pwede na nating i-multiply to. This is 6z. Since same sila ng base, we can add the exponents. So, 6z raised to 8 dz all over 1 plus z squared. So, pwede nating i-isolate si constant. So, this will be equal to 6. The integral of z raised to 8 dz all over 1 plus z squared. Now, dito na lang natin ilagay. This is equal to 6, the integral of z raised to 8 all over 1 plus z squared. So, divide natin to. This will be equal to z8. Since very complicated siya, pwede din naman kayong hindi kayo pwedeng mag-use substitution dito. Okay, so, i-simplify na lang natin to muna. So, this is equal to z raised to 8 divided by, since addition to, commutative sila, so pwede nating unahin si z squared and then plus 1. So, this is equal to z raised to 8 divided by z squared, that is z raised to 6. Z raised to 6, or I should say z raised to 4. Z raised to 4 times z squared is equal to z raised to 8. Z raised to 4 times 1, z raised to 4. And then we subtract. So, this will cancel, tapos bring down si negative z raised to 4. Negative z raised to 4 divided by z squared, that is equal to negative z squared. And then z squared times z squared, that is negative z raised to 4. Tapos negative z squared. Then subtract ulit natin. This will cancel and bring down z squared. Z squared divided by z squared, that is positive 1. Correct ko lang. Ulitin na lang natin yung division. Nagkamali kasi ako. Okay. So, we have z raised to 8 divided by z squared plus 1. So, z raised to 8 divided by z squared is equal to z raised to 6. Kasi sinubtract lang natin yung exponents. And then, for multiplication naman, we add the exponents. Tapos, z raised to 6. And then, we subtract. Of course, this will cancel and we bring down z raised to 6. So, negative z raised to 6 divided by z squared, that is negative z raised to 4. Z raised to 4 times z squared is negative z raised to 6 and then negative z raised to 4. Subtract ulit natin, this will cancel and we bring down positive z raised to 4. Z raised to 4 divided by z raised to 2, that is positive z squared. So, z squared times z squared, that is z raised to 4 and then plus z squared. So, subtract ulit natin. This will cancel and we bring down negative z squared. So, negative z squared divided by z squared, that is equal to negative 1. And then this will be equal to negative z squared minus 1. So, we subtract again. This will cancel and we bring down 1. So, our quotient will be z6 minus z raised to 4 plus z squared minus 1 plus 1 over z squared plus 1. This is our remainder. So, this will be equal to 6, the integral of z raised to 6 minus z raised to 4 plus z squared minus 1 plus 1 all over z squared plus 1 and density dz. Now, dito sa tatlong terms ay apat na terms na to, pwede na tayong mag-proceed into integration. However, for this one, we should apply si trigonometric substitution. So, at the integral of 1 over z squared plus 1 dz. So, Our u is equal to z, our a is equal to 1, and our integrand takes the form of u squared plus a squared. Therefore, gagamitin natin to substitute for u is equal to a tangent theta. And our u is equal to z, our a is equal to 1, so our z is equal to tangent theta. And dz naman natin will be secant squared theta d theta. So this will be equal to the integral of our dz, that is secant squared theta d theta, all over z natin is tangent theta. Tangent squared theta since naka-square siya, and then plus 1. So, sa Pythagorean relations natin, tangent squared theta plus 1 is equal to secant squared theta. So, we substitute that. This will be equal to secant squared theta d theta all over secant squared theta. So, of course, this will cancel. And we will be left with the integral of d theta, and this is equal to theta. Now, what is theta? So, from here, since z is equal to tangent theta, theta is equal to arctan. Arctan of z. Okay? So, yan yung isusubstitute natin. Then, we proceed to our integration, that is 6, the integral of z raised to 6 minus z raised to 4 plus z squared minus 1 plus, ganito pala, dz plus 6 times arctan z. Okay? So, proceed na tayo into integration. This will be equal to z raised to 7 over 7 minus z raised to 5 over 5 plus z cubed over 3 minus integral of dz is equal to z. And then we add c. 6 arctan z. Okay. So, mamaya na tayo mag-simplify. Substitute back muna natin si z. Ano ba si z? Okay. So, from here, yan. X is equal to 5 z raised to 6. Okay. So, our x is equal to z raised to 6. So, how do we find the value of z? So, kunin natin yung 6th root para ma-cancel siya, and we will have the cube root of 6 equal to z. And if we transform this into exponential form, this will be equal to x raised to 1 over 6 equal to z. So, ito yung i-substitute back natin dito sa mga z dito. So, this will be equal to 6 times x raised to 1 over 6 raised to 7 over 7 minus x raised to 1 over 6 raised to 5 all over 5 plus x raised to 1 over 6 raised to 3 all over 3 minus x raised to 1 over 6, and then plus 6 arctan z. So, simplifying further, this is equal to 6 over 7 times x raised to 1 over 6 times 7, that is 7 over 6. And then, minus, distributan natin si 5 for each term. 6 over 5 times x raised to 5, 1 over 6 times 5, that is 5 over 6. And then, plus 6 over 3, that will be equal to 2. And then, x raised to 1 over 6 times 3, that will be equal to x raised to 1 half. And then, minus 6x raised to 1 over 6 plus 6 arctan z. And then, si plus c. Huwag niyong kakalimutan si plus c kahit lagi kong nakakalimutan. So, this is the final answer for example number 1 in algebraic substitution. Okay? So, let's have example number 2. Another case, if the integral involves fractional power of a plus bx only, let z raised to n be equal to a plus bx. Okay? So, ito, example number 2, the integral of x dx all over 2x plus 1 raised to 4 over 3. So, yung a plus bx natin, merong fractional power. So, what should we do? Ang gagawin natin is to tanggalin yung fractional power niya dito. How? Okay. Let z be equal to 2x plus 1 raised to 4 over 3. Okay, so anong gagawin natin para matanggal yung exponent niya? First, erase natin to into 3. Bakit? Para matanggal natin si over 3 dito. So, this will be equal to z cubed 2x plus 1 raised to 4 na lang. Okay, so 4 times 3 is 12 over 3, that is equal to 4. And then, para matanggal din si 4, raise tayo sa 1 over 4. Para 4 over 4 raised to 1 na lang. So, this will be equal to z raised to 3 times 1/4, that is 3 over 4, equal to 2x plus 1. So, natanggal na natin yung fractional power niya dito. And then, kunin natin yung value ng x. So, this will be equal to z raised to 3/4. Transpose natin si positive 1, magiging negative 1 equal to 2x. And we divide both sides by 2. So, we will have a value of x equal to z raised to 3 over 4 minus 1 all over 2. So, pwede natin gamitin to substitute dito. Okay. And, ano yung dx natin? That will be equal to 3 over 4 times z. And then, 3 over 4 minus 1, that is negative 1 over 4. And then, all over 2. So, simplifying, we have dx is equal to 3z raised to negative 1 over 4 over 8. Huwag kakalimutan si dz natin. Minultiply natin si 4 over 2. Okay? So, we now have x and dx. Pwede na tayong mag-substitute. So, this will be equal to the integral of our x. That is z. Z raised to 3 over 4 minus 1 all over 2 multiplied by our dx, that is 3z raised to negative 1 over 4 over 8 dz all over 2x plus 1 raised to 4 over 3. That is our z. Okay? So, mag-simplify na tayo. This will be equal to LCD natin for our numerator, that is 8. So, 8 divided by 2 is 4. So, multiply natin dito. Hindi pala tayo mag-LCD. Magmumultiply lang tayo. Wala pala tayong operation dito. Multiplication lang. So, this will be equal to z raised to 3/4 times 3 z raised to negative 1/4. That is equal to 3 z raised to 1/2. Okay, so if you add 3/4 minus 1/4, that is equal to 1/2. And then negative 1 times this one, that is negative 3z raised to negative 1/4 all over 8 times 2 is 16. Si dz natin all over z. Okay? And then simplifying further, this will be equal to, ayan, in, out na naman tayo. So this is equal to the integral of 3z raised to 1/2 minus 3z raised to negative 1/4 over 16z dz. And then, this is equal to, simplifying further, 3z raised to 1/2 over 16z dz. minus, paghiwalay na natin, 3z raised to negative 1/4 all over 16z dz. And then, pwede natin i-isolate si constant. So, this will be equal to 3 over 16, the integral of, okay, pagsamahin na lang natin si variable z natin. Lagay natin sa taas to para mas maging simple yung integration natin. So, magiging z raised to 1/2 multiplied by z raised to negative 1 dz. Minus, isolate ulit natin si constant. We will have z raised to negative 1/4 all over, multiplied by z raised to negative 1 dz. So, this is equal to 3 over 16 times z raised to 1/2 times z raised to negative 1. 1/2 minus 1, that is equal to negative 1/2 dz. Minus 3 over 16, the integral of negative 1/4 minus 1, that is equal to negative 5 over 4 dz. Okay, so proceed tayo. This is equal to 3 over 16, the integral of, what is the integral of z raised to negative 1/2 dz? So, this is equal to z raised to negative 1/2 plus 1, that is 1/2, all over 1/2. And then, minus 3 over 16, what is the integral of z raised to negative 5 over 4 dz? That is equal to negative z raised to negative 1 over 4 over negative 1 over 4. And then plus c. So, simplify na tayo. This will be equal to 3 over 16. In, out, out. That is equal to z 2z raised to 1/2 minus 3 over 16 times negative siya. So, negative 4 all over. Since negative yung exponent niya, pwede natin siyang ibaba para maging positive. So, this will be equal to 4 over z raised to 1 over 4 plus c. So, simplifying further, this will be equal to, okay, magka-cancel yan, 3 over 8 z raised to 1/2. Negative times negative, that is positive. And then, magka-cancel din to. This is equal to 3 over 4 z raised to 1/4 plus c. And then, LCD natin, that is equal to 8z raised to 1/4. So, 8z raised to 1/4 divided by 8, that is z raised to 1/4. So, 3z raised to 1/2 times z raised to 1/4. And then plus 8z raised to 1/4 divided by 4z raised to 1/4, that is 2 times 3, so that is 6. Then, simplifying further, since same base sila, pwede nating i-add na lang yung exponent. So, 1/2 plus 1/4, that is equal to 3/4. This is equal to 3z raised to 3/4 plus 6 all over 8z raised to 1 over 4 plus c. Okay? So, pwede na nating i-substitute back si value of z. So, our z is equal to 2x plus 1 raised to 4 over 3. So, dito na natin ituloy. This is equal to 3 times 2x plus 1 raised to 4 over 3 raised to 3 over 4. And then plus 6 all over 8 times our z is 2x plus 1 raised to 4 over 3 raised to 1 over 4. Okay, so this will be equal to, and then plus c pala. Okay, so 4 over 3 times 3 over 4, that is equal to 1. So, magiging 3 times 2x plus 1 plus 6. Okay. And then, over, okay, 4 over 3 times 1 over 4, magka-cancel si 4. That will be equal to 8 times 2x plus 1 raised to 1 over 3 plus c. So simplifying further, we have 6x plus 3 plus 6 all over 8 times 2x plus 1 raised to 1 over 3 plus c. And then simplifying further, this is 6x plus 9 all over 8 times 2x plus 1 raised to 1 over 3 plus c. So this is our final answer for example number 2. Okay. So for example number 3, reciprocal substitution. So trial and error method ng algebraic substitution ito. So let z be equal to 1 over x. Then our dx is equal to negative dz all over z squared. Okay, so since z is equal to 1 over x natin, our x is equal to 1 over z din. Okay. So, example number 3 tayo. Substitute natin si 1 over z dito sa x. So, this will be equal to the integral of 1 over z minus 1 over z cube raised to 1 over 3. Then, our dx is equal to negative dz all over z squared. Over si x over 4 natin, that is 1 over z raised to 4. And then we simplify. So, this will be equal to, since negative to, pwede nating i-isolate si negative. And then, ito, in, out, out ulit tayo. So, we can reduce this, the denominator. So, z squared to z4, magiging z squared na lang. So, this is equal to 1 over z minus 1 over z cube raised to 1 over 3 dz. Nilabas na natin si negative. All over 1 over z squared. Okay? So, simplifying further, this will be equal to negative the integral of in, out, out ulit. Hindi. Itaas natin si denominator. Okay, in, out, out din to. Meron tayong imaginary over 1 dito. This is the whole numerator. So, multiply natin kay z squared since out, out sila parehas. So, this is equal to 1 over z minus 1 over z cube raised to 1 over 3 times z squared dz. Okay, since 1 ito, wag na lang nating isulat. Over 1 naman yan. So, this is, pagsamahin natin to. Simplify natin. This is equal to, LCD nila is z cube. So, z cube divided by z, that is z squared. And then z cube divided by z cube, that is equal to 1. So, negative 1 raised to 1 over 3 z squared dz. And then, okay, so rules of exponent, pwede nating i-distribute sa numerator and denominator separately. So, this is equal to z squared minus 1 raised to 1/3 all over z cube raised to 1/3 times z squared dz. Okay, so this will cancel. So, z raised to 1 na to. And of course, since z squared to nasa numerator and nasa denominator, and multiplication yung operation natin, pwede natin siyang i-reduce and finally cancel si denominator natin. So, this will be equal to the integral of z squared minus 1 raised to 1 over 3 times z dz. So, what should we do next? So, mag-let u tayo. Let u be equal to z squared minus 1, du be equal to 2z dz. So, since may z dz tayo dito, okay, so magiging 1/2 du is equal to z dz. So, this is what we will substitute dito sa z dz natin. So, this is equal to negative the integral of z squared minus 1 is equal to u. So, u raised to 1/3 times 1/2 du, which is si z dz natin. So we can isolate si constant. This is equal to negative 1/2. And the integral of u raised to 1/3 du is equal to u raised to 1/3 minus 1, that 1/3 plus 1, that is u raised to 4 over 3 all over 4 over 3, and then plus c. So simplifying further, this is equal to 1/2 times 3u raised to 4 over 3 all over 4 plus c. And then this will be equal to negative 3 over 8. Tapos, substitute back natin si u. What is u? U is equal to z squared minus 1. 3 over 8, tapos z squared minus 1 raised to 4 over 3. Now, ano si z? From here, z is equal to 1 over x. Okay. So, substitute back natin si 1 over x. Our final answer will be negative 3 over 8 times 1 over x squared minus 1 raised to 4 all over 3, and then plus c. So, ito na ngayon yung final answer natin for example number 3. So, that ends my discussion in the different techniques of integration.